Hello, hello. Oh, baby, thank you. And I beat
Out of courtesy, I'm giving this 19 seconds because you don't deserve 19 seconds of peace for what I'm looking at. I'm not even, I'm going to leave this voice up so people know the lead up to this because what the fuck happened to your head, son?
I don't know what happened to yours.
You got prettier. See this
jawline?
Did
you? Yeah.
See this jawline? Oh, and I didn't shave my fucking head. Where the hell is your hair?
No, I needed my hair this short because I have to wear a hat now for work.
Yeah. I know that, but
and
why?
So I need it to fucking hold on to something because if I didn't cut my hair, my hat would be sliding right off.
No, you do it like me. You do a little pony in the back and throw it through the hole.
Okay, jackass. My hair wasn't long enough for a ponytail.
It wasn't? I thought it was a little bit longer by now.
No.
But still, shave the sides down. How's the top look? Pop that head off real quick. What the? Well, to be fair, you have hair up there. It's fine.
No, because I told
like you shaved it down.
This always happens to me. I tell somebody's grandma because that's what it is who's cutting my hair.
I go to a better barbershop, dude. Go to a barbershop, not a fucking beauty salon.
It wasn't a beauty salon. It was a. But anyways, I tell them, I'm like,
cutting your hair. It's a beauty salon.
No, because here it's every fucking. Anyways, so then I tell them, fucking fade, right? And I tell them, do not touch the top. Leave the top as it is. One lady was actually tried finishing my sentence for me. She's like, oh, and I do up the top with scissors. I'm like, no, don't touch the top. It's like, okay, what does she do? She touches the top with fucking scissors.
Always, and it's always the women that do it. If you get men, they know that because men know, like, no, it fucking matters not to touch the top when you don't want to touch the fucking top. Yeah. So like, I took my son to go get so I took my son to a new barbershop. It's a more man-centric barbershop. I used to take him to Supercuts, a couple nice ladies there, always took care of him real good. But it's very basic, fucking $8 kind of haircut, and I'm still tipping him well, and it's still $15. I don't even know what the charge is. I always pay way too much for shit. But so I take him to this place, and the charge is like kind of a lot. But I'm looking at the guys around, the kids around, like, all right, this guy's gonna do all right. But then he gets his barber, right? And the barber's like this 19-year-old kid with a mullet. I'm like, oh no. Like, oh no. And he actually lines them up pretty good. Except he does that thing where they like line up the front, they shave, like they do the razor blade shave to square up the front. And that always looks so good the day they do it. Yeah. But the very next day, you've got that little stubble lining your fucking edge of your head. It looks fucking stupid. They did that to me, and they took my hairline way the fuck back here, man. Made me look like I had the biggest widow's peak, like Garza Widow peak. And I got a big forehead, but it wasn't fucking halfway back in my head, And it took like a year for my hair to grow back out in that area and to start looking right again. And the only saving grace is that little kids have these little small compact fucking heads. So their hair covers like 75% of their whole fucking head. So you can edge that up and not even tell. But he does look good. It's a good haircut. Got that real nice fade going on, which I've never had. Have you ever gotten a fade done?
Yeah.
Like one of these hard fades where like it's a real dividing line from the top to the bottom, but clean, right? Not like two-tone or anything, but clean.
Yeah, the Marine Corps haircut is really a fucking fade.
Well, yeah, but that's a high fade. I guess I'm talking more like a mid fade where it goes like just about, arcs over the ear kind of thing.
After 2 years, you can do a mid fade instead of a high. You do mid fade, and in 3 years you do it low. And then if you're a lifer, you just do the fucking sideburns and the edges of the back of your head, and that's it.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's funny. So you can look at somebody's haircut and almost tell how long they've been in service.
Yep.
Holy fucking cool. That's a really cool fucking little tidbit of information. Because now that I think about who I've met and where they were at in their military career, yeah, you're absolute. That does hold up. That checks out. So let me ask you something to jump into the show.
Okay.
After your haircut, do they brush it off or do you shake it off? Shake it off.
No, she brushed it off, and I was smelling until I showered. I was smelling like an old lady, and I'm like, fuck.
Smell like Barbasol. Barbasol and mints. Oh boy, no. So I asked if you shook it off because you found out that this story that we broke last year, kind of.
Well, you wanted to talk about it last year, but we never got around to it.
Well, we touched on. I think we touched on it in the show.
Uh-huh.
Because it was enough to talk about. But yeah, it's funny that it's making the rounds back now, is the fact that there was a cop who went and realized he was being recorded. He was going up against these, he was confronting, how do you put this? Because it's not like he was out there like fighting them or anything.
Well, about a year ago, you were telling me that they were playing, I think it was the Beatles, right? So that the video won't go up on YouTube. And this past week, a video went viral of God, I should have written the fucking name down.
Well, I didn't get the cop's name, but they were going. It was a cop that was speaking to a Black Lives Matter group called, which is Did you hear what the Black Lives Matter group name was?
Well, that's what I was saying. That I should have written it down because I don't remember.
It's the anti-police terror group.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Which makes them sound like they are the terror group that are anti-police. Not that it's anti-police terror group. You know what I mean? Like they didn't. I don't know if they hyphenated it or not, but somebody really should have fucking done a little bit of more effort in coming up with these names. APTG. So yeah, the idea was that he saw that they were recording him. So he very casually pulls out his phone and starts playing fucking Shake It Off or some fucking Taylor Swift song and like kind of mounts it over his camera, not covering the camera, just like sitting on top of the camera. It slipped in his shirt so that, and they ask him like, hey, why are you playing Taylor Swift right now? Like, oh, well, I just saw you recording me and I know that you can't post this on YouTube now. Like very straightforward. Like he wasn't trying to hide it. He was just like, I just don't want my image going up on YouTube. And I understood what he was doing, but it was completely ignorant to the fact that, well, we have the right to see police confrontations, whether they're peaceful or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in a public place. Like,
yeah,
it was very shady, dude. And so yeah, I'll let you talk on it a bit, I guess.
So yeah, that was the people's argument that, you know, you're infringing on freedom of speech. You know, like we have a right to fucking film you because, you know, this is out in public, whatever. But, you know, in case you do something out of line, you know, we can catch it on video. And so that's really what the cops are doing. They're masquerading. They're giving themselves a free pass by masquerading what is going on. So you can't hear the audio, but or you can't upload it because of the copyright infringement law. And this cop very proudly, he's like, this is my badge, this is my name. Oh, yeah.
Here's my name, here's my number. He really didn't think he was doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's a very new concept. It's not something that, you know, it was just like a clever idea. Oh, I've got this clever idea. Let's follow through with it. And to be fair, props to him for the fucking thought. It was a good, clever fucking idea. It really was.
Well, that's an SOP now. It's a standard operating procedure now for big city cops.
No. It's not, because even his department, his police department, straight up said like this was wrong. They launched the investigation.
Of course they're gonna deny it.
Well, sure, but it's not like it's written down or they're like teaching the people to do it, because otherwise there'd be more than just one time this happened. You know, it's only happened like a handful of times.
It's an unspoken rule.
It's a clever workaround for people that aren't so clever, because YouTube has come out and said, well, you know, unfortunately for this gentleman, he doesn't quite understand the rules. I'm gonna have to throw my cat in the bedroom in a minute if she keeps chasing this damn fly that's in the house. So YouTube says copyright music has to be loud enough, first of all, in some cases. Some music companies allow it. Some music companies charge for it, and some other music companies block it. So it's really up to the music company's discretion, who owns the music, how they want to pursue that whole thing. And they have to catch it first off, before it goes fucking viral. Otherwise, it's just up to the masses now. Like you're not getting rid of it. It's on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that shit. So yeah, the department says it's not allowed, and they did request that it get looked into by internal affairs and whatnot. The guy will probably get fined. He'll probably be like suspended from the force for a few months, and it'll be paid. You know, he really, I mean, honestly, I don't think he did any. I think he did something wrong, but I don't think it was malicious or like. I don't want people recording me and throwing it up on YouTube for their fucking entertainment. But if I'm a public servant, I believe they have the right to do that.
Yeah.
It's just an ignorance thing, which at what point is ignorance excusable, you know?
Yeah. Then the guy was saying, because the guy asked the cop, he's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you playing Taylor Swift? And he's like, oh, I just know that, you know,
it can't go up on YouTube.
Yeah, if I play this, then you can't put it up on YouTube. And he's like, what? And then later on in the conversation, he changes it. He's like, I'm just listening to music. Do you not like to listen to music? Like, we're out in the open. I can listen to music. Like, really?
It's true. But that was his explanation. Like, yeah. So that's why he didn't think he was doing anything wrong, because it's not like he wasn't walking away from the conversation. Again, it wasn't to avoid the conversation or avoid being recorded. He just didn't want it up on YouTube. It could have gone to the news. It could have gone, you know, to any various other sources. He very specifically said for YouTube, because he believed in this copyright infringement law that it would work in his favor.
Yeah, it would save his ass. But yeah, it wasn't even anything major. It was just the cop was telling him to put the banners down. And they're like, why are we going to put the banners down if we're, you know, peaceful protest, whatever the fuck it was?
Well, were they posted on federal property? Because that's illegal.
Yeah, federal or state, one of the two, but it was in a government building. And so
you can't do that. You can hold it up and you can do it on the opposite side of the street, but you can't go onto federal property and do that without permission, right? Any building. You can't go into any public building, I don't think, and just post up your own posters. Like, you have to have permission.
Yeah. So
even if it's like cats, like a missing cat poster, you have to have the owner's permission. And this is a state and federal building.
Yeah. So
presumably, I actually don't know where it was, so I don't know.
Yeah, it looked like it had some there
was a Greek statue, influence. So it must have been something.
No, it looked like it had some Greek influence, so it was probably a federal or state building. But that was the argument, that the protesters couldn't hang their banners, and he was saying that no, it could be a tripping hazard. And I'm like, no, just
what?
Yeah, I'm like, just explain the law how it is. You can't hang.
But it's ignorance. Like even if it might not even be a law, dude. I don't know. It's not like we know the law any better than cops do, but it seems like cops are kind of winging it a lot of the times and aren't really brushing up on their local laws at the time, you know?
Yeah, it very well could have been like he doesn't want any of them around, so he just made something up, like, you know, oh, somebody could trip. Like, how can they trip
just scare
if it's
them,
hanging
right?
up high, you know?
Yeah. Well, you might cut someone's head off. Like, All right. Well, I just wanted to bring. You brought that up a little bit earlier in the week, and I know you had forgot about it, so I wanted to touch base. I looked into it a little bit, touch base on it, because it's interesting, man. The way that the world is continuously changing. Laws are continuously being made and changed and adjusted. Speaking of laws, this Bill Cosby shit, man. I know you weren't too familiar with it. There's really not much that isn't already known. But what have you heard about it? What do you think about him being released, man?
Well, it was so long ago that, you know, I had to brush up on it, and I did. I remember it was a sexual assault charge, but I didn't remember the details. You know,
you didn't remember that it was 60 women that had allegations towards Bill Cosby? You didn't remember that during the court case, he says he freely admits that he drugged women with Quaaludes and had sex with them, but did not consider it rape. And honestly, I believe he is completely innocent in his own fucking mind. The guy is a rapist, and he justifies it by thinking, well, they would have wanted it anyway, or they implied that they wanted the drug and wanted this to happen. Like, the guy is a narcissist. He was treated like God's gift to the world and God's gift to the African American. Oh, I'm sorry. He doesn't believe that they're Africans. They are just Americans. They don't even know anything about Africa. There's a terrible quote from him, but it's a chopped up quote. But he's been known to say that. He's a grandiose figure in his own head. It seems like. I don't believe how this all became overturned due to a technicality.
Well, it wasn't a technicality. What happened?
It is.
No.
Okay, explain it. I'll tell you how it is.
What happened was that, I fucking took notes and shit, but I'm no, I can pull this off my ass.
Yeah, it's not that much.
So what happened was that district attorney at the time made a deal with Bill Cosby that if he testified, then he wouldn't face criminal charges, right? So and he did that. He testified.
Yeah, he testified in another case, which I couldn't find. Could you find anything on that other case?
It was the Amanda Constant case, which was the main woman that came out against him. It was a civil case, right? And I guess that made all the difference. So then the DA made the deal that for some time he wouldn't be criminally prosecuted for that charge. So then that DA fucking retired, stepped down, whatever it was, but he had a successor, and that successor, just before the end of the statute of limitations, reopened the case and charged Bill Cosby. And so Bill Cosby served, 2 years out of a 10-year sentence, and
a little over 2, yeah.
Yeah, so then they brought it up to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, and they're like, well, yeah, he shouldn't have opened the case because there was a deal made, and it should apply to all future DAs. And so that's why they released him.
This is why it's a technicality, son, because none of this shit was on paper. This is all verbal, just bullshit. Like, there's no proof that this conversation ever took place. And most of the time when you strike a deal with anybody in a court case, it has to be approved through the courts and put on paper. When it's just a verbal agreement, that's how they end up tricking people into fucking convicting themselves. Because you say, oh yeah, we'll give you the deal. They wait for them to ask for the paperwork. They never ask for it. Like, well, we never said that. What the fuck are you talking about? Get your ass back in prison, motherfucker.
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
That's the way it should have gone. But because he's fucking Bill Cosby and has these fucking masses of assholes, I'm sorry, I've got no sympathy for a fucking rapist, man.
Right. Well,
I mean, call me crazy. Call me fucking crazy for not sympathizing with a fucking rapist.
Well, I mean, whose idea of a good time is drugging somebody and then, doing as they will to them? But
narcissist.
Yeah, so I couldn't find if it was on paper or if it was an oral deal.
Getting heated on this one, man.
Yeah, it never even crossed my mind.
No, it's not on paper anywhere. They're still looking for that, and there's no point now because it's already done. It was. Where is the sense in that? How does it get overturned based on a verbal agreement made 3 years ago or 4 years ago?
If the Supreme Court had a ruling over it, then it had to be on paper because.
Well, that was for a different thing because the Supreme Court didn't ruled that not innocent, right? But they threw it out, right, or something.
Yeah,
but the other courts caught him, and it's not like it was the only rape. Like, we let him go on a technicality. It wasn't because he was innocent. It was because he was not found guilty, and the only reason he was not found guilty, why it was overturned, was because of this bullshit verbal agreement that supposedly took place. It doesn't mean he's innocent. It doesn't mean he shouldn't be serving time. So if I kill somebody point blank in the head and there's no body found, no evidence of it, there's no case, right? Does that make me innocent? No. It means I'm not going to jail. Does that make it right? Like, at what point does justice overturn fucking idiotic ideologies of how a court case should proceed? It just doesn't make sense to me, man. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's got to be heated, man. It's got to be heated.
It boils down to a deal's a deal. And that was the deal they made, and it should have been upheld. So I'm thinking if this new DA would have waited just a few more years then he would have could have properly prosecuted Bill Cosby.
Nope, because statute of limitations was running out,
Right,
dude.
that's what I'm saying. After the statute of limitations, if you would have just waited, then he could have
Waited
probably
for what?
no the statute of limitations for the deal that the former
No,
DA
this
made with Bill
yeah,
Cosby.
but there's this a statute of limitations on the rape cases too. That's why
Oh, okay.
95. That's why 95% of these fucking women didn't get to charge him, because some of them straight up didn't want it. Was they want to let it go and let it be in the past. That this happens all the time. A lot of rapists don't get convicted because their victim or the survivor, excuse me, chooses to just not pursue it because it's not worth their time. They know what it's going to entail. My sister is involved in a big case with the city of Austin and the county. Austin's county. What's the county of Austin?
I don't know. I want to say Travis, but I think that's no, yeah, I think it is Travis.
I think
Harris.
I don't remember. Either way.
Houston.
So the after 10 or 11 years, I've brought this up before. She was involved in a rape case. After following up for several years, she contacts them trying to follow up, and they say, "Oh, the case has been closed." And she's like, "What do you mean the case has been closed? I've been waiting for y'all to follow up, and you never did. I've been calling and checking." And turns out that they marked it. They've been doing this for dozens of cases a year, or hundreds of cases, where they simply mark them as not followed up by the victim. So the case is honestly closed, because that's funny. Your tongue came out of the bottom of that glass. When you did that. That was funny. Anyway, sorry, just inserting a little humor here for this dark ass conversation.
Right.
So after years, they denied the case. They wouldn't settle, and finally they've settled. And unfortunately, I don't think they've given very much to the women. It was a very small settlement as far as money towards the victim. So the city did rule in her favor. No, the county ruled in her favor. But this is there's like 8 or 9 women involved in this case. Out of, again, hundreds. And so what they're doing is they're gonna implement a new rape victims unit. They're gonna have like $250,000 a year go to it, but everything else that is on the paperwork is basically like, well, and then the rest is up to our discretion. We'll be training them as much as we can, up to our ability and discretion. We'll be following up with the cases and pushing them the best we can and at our discretion. So everything's got that little loophole at the end of it. It's to our discretion. They're like, well, you've always been supposed to be doing this shit. It's always been up to your discretion. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. You didn't follow up with things because that was your discretion at the time. Yeah. It was too difficult, too much effort, too much money, too much manpower to invest in it. So I'm not extremely happy with how that court case has ended up, but I am happy that my sister has, and those women have some sort, just a minutia of
semblance.
Of what?
Semblance.
Some semblance. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Some semblance of, I don't know, ending all this struggle. Closure. Jesus Christ. What is with me today?
No, you're clouded with all these emotions.
I'm emotionally drained, dude. This has been a tough one, because I've been so concerned over my sister and her, and she still has to go through the county too. Yeah. So that's going to be a whole thing. I think they're talking settlement as well now, because they were supposed to have that court case about a week or 2 ago, and I think they are in settlement proceedings. So I may have to talk to my sister on whether I could release all this information or not and cut this out. But so we'll move on from here. But that's why I just wanted to explain it, in case I am able to leave this in. I wanted to explain why this Bill Cosby shit has me so up in ire, and why you see me posting on my personal Instagram a lot about this stuff, because it's just, God damn, man. You work so hard to be a good person in this world, and you're surrounded by just this disgusting reality that not everybody holds life and others in any esteem whatsoever. People treat each other like shit in this world.
Yeah, and then look, fucking everyone viewed Bill Cosby as such a wholesome person. He was a TV dad for the longest time.
Sure.
And you know, even he believed it because when Eddie Murphy started out, he called Eddie Murphy telling them that, you know, he should
stop cussing.
Yeah, he needs to stop cussing and be more family friendly and shit.
Now, you know, you're an influence on this community. Oh, that's a little more Obama, I think, than Cosby, but whatever. Yeah, so it's real weird. He's got this, and that's why I believe he believes he's innocent. He doesn't think that what he did was wrong. Well, look at who I am. Look what a wonderful person I've been to this world and this community. How could I be that guy that does that? What I did was completely different from rape. It's just self-justification. It's just moving on. We've got more to talk about, and there's much more meat on the bone. I think the Cosby shit is more black and white than it's being treated. I think he belongs back in jail. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. He's in his 70s. Let's just hope he's on his last leg.
83. I just learned yesterday.
Is he 83 already?
83. I'm like, wow.
That makes sense. Have you seen his eyes? Neither have I, because they're clouded over. You can't see his eyes. I don't think he's seen his own eyes in the mirror for the last few years.
Shit. Yeah. So what I got is a fucking timeline.
Are we getting the meat on the bone now? Are we getting to the main course of the episode? Because we teased this last week. You brought it up, and I spent like 2 hours before this episode just binge watching everything about John McAfee. And I am in love with this psycho. He was such a fucking amazingly batshit crazy dude. He's a Bill Zarian like fucking 30 years from now.
So would you have voted for him in 2016?
Fuck no. Fuck no. Oh God, no. What the fuck was wrong with you? Why did you do it? Did you do it just for a lark because you knew he wouldn't win? Or did you genuinely believe he should be the president of this United States of America?
No, look, what you have to know is that when it comes to the Libertarian Party...
I need to laugh this one out.
When it comes to the Libertarian Party, every single candidate is batshit crazy or there's something wrong with them. In Gary Johnson's...
Sure, you have to be some sort of Bill Cosby narcissist to want to fucking lead the free world or think that you were capable of doing so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a common statement.
Yeah, and so then what happened? So then with John McAfee, I found the meme I made of him on Twitter. He liked it, but I think he deleted they deleted his Twitter.
You got a like from John McAfee before he died?
Yep.
Brother, that's a feather in your hat. It could not be better if it was Alex fucking Jones. Hashtag free Alex Jones. Man, we missed that one for a minute.
Yeah, so then with McAfee, it's that out of all the candidates, he actually, put his fucking money where his mouth is.
Nope.
He put
his crypto where his mouth is.
Oh. Yeah, that makes more sense. But anyway.
Yeah, the guy didn't deal with dollar bills for years. He was strictly a crypto guy. Yeah. He was asked, like, so how do you feel about silver and gold? Like, well, can you eat it? Can you walk around with enough of it if you have to flee for any reason? I could tell you right now, you can't. It's like that. It's inconvenient. It's not, you can walk around, you can cross borders with nobody knowing the wiser that in the bank account in your head, you have $40 billion. It's like, that's a fucking hell of a point, bro. That's a hell of a point. All you need is to remember a fucking password. Yeah. But what happens when you forget your fucking password, bro?
You lose everything. That's why
this happens too.
Yeah, that's why I haven't invested in crypto. But
because you can't remember a password.
No, I use my password for everything, but I'm like, what if I switch computers? Like, what if I I use a new tower. Like, does all my money go to that tower? Like,
No, it's not in the tower. It's in the program that's being run through the internet. It's not all held on your computer. Like there's records of it going to certain places, like IP addresses, I think.
yeah, there's a crypto wallet, and apparently that's where it's all stored.
Yeah, but so the whole at the end, so the government kept him in jail. They believe that he had all this hidden cryptocurrency and hidden money, but there's no way to track it. That's why people like cryptocurrency, because you cannot track it without the creator following the chain, right?
Well, now
Like,
the
how does
U.S.
this work?
government is thinking of doing a digital dollar. It's not
Of
crypto dollar,
course they are.
digital
You know
dollar.
what's so? I asked my dad about this last year when they started giving out all the stimulus checks. I was like, so where is all this money coming? Because he's a tax agent. He's a professional financial services guy. He does taxes and bookkeeping for various companies and schools and whatnot. And he found his words to me were, "Oh, well, they're very obviously trying to crash the dollar. They want to take us all to a digital currency so that they can more easily manage us, manage finances, and keep an eye on where our money is going. If you don't have paper or gold or silver hidden away in your mattress and all your money is in cryptocurrency, well, and it's in their systems, well, they'll know exactly where every penny is."
Yeah.
And it fucking blew my mind because my dad is a bit of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to the finances and shit like that.
Yeah, because he sees patterns and he can predict.
But it's pattern recognition. Yeah, he's been doing it for a minute. So I don't deny it. And at the time I thought maybe it's a little too paranoid to think that. But look at what you're saying. Now they're coming out with this idea that they very well might be developing their own cryptocurrency that's going to replace all this shit. But
China's developing their cryptocurrency.
Hang on. Let's not get bogged down in that because we need to cover McAfee. We can talk cryptocurrency maybe next episode now that I've learned a little bit more about it because of fucking McAfee. So McAfee's big thing in the end, what he got taken down for was this tax evasion.
Yeah.
Because he was doing pump and dump schemes, not for Bitcoin, but for dozens of different types of cryptocurrency. And it turns out people were allegedly paying him to promote their cryptocurrency, talk it up. They would pay him in it, and then at the last minute he would dump his stocks, cash out for other cryptocurrency, and just kept the ball rolling. So evidently he amassed over $20 million within the last few years, just doing this online, promoting cryptocurrency, bailing on it, talking about a new random cryptocurrency, bailing on it. Genius. I mean, fucking genius. You can't trace the money. All he's doing is talking about things that he's looked up. There's no proof that he was contacted by these cryptos. I know I've been trying to get you on this side of me this whole time. So I'm like leaning the fuck over. So it's fascinating, but this is just what he got busted for. This has nothing to do with his time in Belize, his time
Dominican Republic
in Belize, huh?
In Belize and Dominican Republic.
That's the other place, yeah.
Yeah.
And then people were wondering why he was in Spain, how he got busted there. Well, he was on his way to Istanbul, evidently.
Yeah.
Because easier to get away with shit over there, but Spain had him busted because there were charges here in the United States getting him on tax evasion. So they were able to arrest him and get him back on this side. But I want to go back to the fucking beginning. Yeah. Why don't you did you research any of this, or are you gonna let me take over the whole episode?
I'm excited.
Like I said, this got me pumped today.
I got a timeline of tweets and letters and one video leading up to his death.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because I brushed up on this, and you're like, no, we'll go into detail next week. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, these aren't off the top of my head. I wrote them down, not in chronological order, so I may have to fucking go back and forth on these pages. But what happened? Where's the first one? 9, 10, 19. Yeah, this is it. So then the tweet in September, right? 9/10/19. Official McAfee. I've collected files on corruption in governments for the first time. I'm naming names and specifics. I'll begin with a corrupt CIA agent and 2 Bahamian officials. Coming today, if I am arrested or disappear, 31 plus terabytes of incriminating data will be released to the press. And then there was
Why
one.
wouldn't he just do it though? And
Leverage,
why
I
wouldn't
guess.
there be some sort of kill switch? Like, you don't, if it's digital, there's more than one copy. Like, why would you have one fucking location that you have this in? You give it to several trusted people, a lawyer, a fucking wife, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, there's gotta, if this info really exists, it's gotta be out there somewhere. It doesn't just disappear because one building gets blown up.
Right. That's what people on Reddit are saying, that, well, surely he had fucking backup files.
Of course, the guy had multiple houses. He had the beachfront villa in Belize, along with his compound, where he was developing his own narcotics, making his own bath salts and distributing them in Belize. Had his own fucking militia fucking force of gangsters, thugs, cops, and fucking ex-cops. Basically took over this entire fucking town, instilled curfews, and had a hitman called Mac 10, allegedly, because none of it was proven, right? You know, did you hear about this one guy? He got in an argument about his fucking dogs, and the guy was an ex-Marine. So this guy, to handle him, knowing that, well, the law wasn't going to do shit, he goes and fucking poisons all the dogs, allegedly. No proof of this, but of course, a couple of weeks later, they find his house broken into. He's been tased a few times and a bullet in the back of the fucking head. So, you know, maybe he fucked with the wrong person. Maybe he didn't. Fucking insane. Insane, this story. It reads like fucking the Escobar family, you know, fucking in Mexico. Like, this guy was a legit fucking gangster.
Yeah. So then, speaking of that incident with the dogs, they made a documentary about him, and they interviewed this one Belizean, right? And he was like, "Oh yeah, because he gave me money to put in this account, and I had to pick up this one guy, right, from somewhere suspicious, you know." And then it turned out later on that the guy said, "Yeah, they paid me, what was it, 10 million to just fucking make up some shit." And 10 million is a lot in Belize, or 10 million or 10,000. I don't know.
It was probably 10 grand, because even Mac 10 supposedly only got like 5 grand for that hit.
Yeah, so it's probably 10 grand. And he's like, you can do a lot with 10 grand in Belize. Like, that's a lot of money. So, of course, I took the money and I lied my ass off, made it as credible as possible. So, yeah, he probably didn't kill his neighbor, but it looks like. And then there was this other genius movie.
Wait, okay, hold on now. You can't just say he probably didn't kill his neighbor. Are you listening to this fucking lifestyle? Like,
I didn't, yeah, but
he freely admitted he would post about his bath salts and his psychedelic uses and all this shit. He would freely admit, like, I do not recommend anybody do psychedelics. I would never recommend anybody do psychedelics. I can only speak to my own use. And I could tell you, you know, you can't come down from psychedelics and not be happy, but you also can't come down from psychedelics and be in the same world you lived in before. You know, like, it can either it can be the best thing in your life, or it could be the worst. I can't tell you what it's going to be. And that's right, because that's my experience with psychedelics as well. But bath salts. Okay. I have a history with bath salts. I had a few months where I got into bath salts. It was terrifying. By the end of it, I did a 3-day binge. I ended up calling my own fucking intervention afterwards with my family. Everybody who knows this podcast has heard this story before. So I can tell you right now that that's a habit that will fucking break you. I got out of it quickly because I was desperate too. I didn't have the contacts anymore to maintain that habit, thank God, either. So I can see how this guy might just be straight bad shit. the thing is, these types of drugs also keep your brain firing in a very coherent, fast, like a very clear rate. Like arguably I speak better when I'm on fucking mushrooms or fucking bath salts because my brain is ready to talk. Here I'm completely sober talking to you. I'm fumbling with my words because I'm overthinking about shit. Well, drugs allow you to have one frame of mind, one fucking path you want to follow, and you dig in deep. You dig that channel so deep, it's hard to get out of it. You know, you're in a fucking foxhole that's fucking 5 feet over your head. It's a little hard to dig out of that once you fucking dig for so fucking long. If you don't get out early enough and you don't work to fill that fucking foxhole in, you're likely to fall right back into it again. And this is what happened with McAfee. He got sober. He came back to the United States during that time, and then he fucking fell off the wagon again and started losing his fucking shit again. Started getting all this fucking money again with the cryptocurrency pump and dump schemes, allegedly. Do we still have to keep saying allegedly if the guy's dead?
I don't think so. I mean, case closed, right?
I mean, kind of, unless we're talking about people that are associated with him.
Yeah. So, you know, whatever.
So I am inclined to think that if he was suicided, I don't necessarily believe it had to be the government that did it. I think it very well could have just been him running his fucking mouth off in prison. But realistically, to me, I think it's a guy who needed his drugs again and was in prison, couldn't get them, and reality started sinking way too deep into his brain. And the reality of a life that is unhappy without drugs, when you're used to drugs, it'll drive you to suicide, man. I'm still leaning more towards the suicide part of this. Do I think there's sketchy shit about his properties and his buildings? Kind of. But honestly, I think it might have been him too, because so when he left Belize and came back to the United States, his beach house got burnt down, supposedly in a brush fire. It's all too convenient. Everything that happened to him was way too conveniently pointed towards like a conspiracy. You know, it all like it would. Oh, well, yeah, no, it could very well be very obvious that this was done by a group that was going against him. But just like Tiger King, man, just like Tiger King, you remember his place burned down? It was pretty fucking obvious that he burnt it down himself and then made it out as if other people did it, the Carol Baskins fucking did it, you know?
Yeah.
So we know that this is a mindset that drug users say, oh, well, I can get away with it if I just make it look like there's a conspiracy against me. Like the best conspiracy theorists make up their own fucking conspiracy and oftentimes put it into effect themselves. So this is where I'm kind of leaning towards. He got rid of all the evidence of his fucking drug use and drug production, which again, he admitted he was producing his own fucking types of bath salts. I think it's very, very much more likely that he paid to have his own building burned down, his own, and this other one burned down or demolished in order to further the legend of him being attacked. I think it could go either way.
Well, he auctioned off his properties. I don't know if his Belize properties or all his properties. And then because he was bankrupt,
I believe he did. Because so before he got arrested in Belize, or no, he didn't get arrested. What they did, they stormed his place after that murder. When they tried to associate him with Mac 10. So they stormed his place and they found a bunch of weapons and they found a bunch of money, no drugs. So most likely he was tipped off because he did have dirty cops and cops from neighboring cities on his payroll. So more than likely he got tipped off and had somebody bail with all the fucking drugs out the back door, because that was something he was open about. You know, it's not like, I don't know. It's too convenient for all this to have happened in the way he said, like if this happens, you know this, and then it happens. And then again, if this happens, you know this, and then it happens. Like, you can't be right 100% of your fucking predictions. That is literally impossible. Literally impossible. You just can't predict everything that's going to happen to you. And he did. So I believe he was making it happen himself.
Okay.
No?
Well, I mean,
prove me wrong.
Well, here's the timeline.
Yes, here
we only have a few minutes left. So in a few days,
we don't. We're gonna keep this going. This will be an extended edition because this is one of the first episodes I did real homework on in a while. I've been pumped for this, and we'll make this an hour and a half one if we have to.
So then, after what was it, 2 weeks of him saying, "Hey, I got terabytes of data," somebody tweeted for him on his official Twitter account. If John misses his next check-in, events will be set into motion that I cannot prevent once they have begun.
But he didn't. But that didn't happen. The parts where he actually shows that he has anything at all never ever came to fruition. Why wouldn't you tease more? You know, like.
Well, they weren't teasing more. It was like a reminder. Hey, this guy's got terabytes of information. You better not fuck with him.
But prove it. You prove it by releasing. You don't have to say jack shit. All you have to do is put a name or several names of either individuals or companies or organizations. And he never even does that. He never even says like it's specifically the CIA or the IRS, or like he always says he thinks they're coming after him, but he never explains particulars. And he could have given a lot more information to help us out, you know, help us believe him. Okay. Instead, it's just this guy fucking making shit up on the fly. That's just enough information to make you think, oh, well, he might actually be telling the truth, but never enough information to say, you know, to not be able to say like, oh, well, this guy also might be fucking lying too. You know, if you're telling the truth, there's always that tiny bit extra information you get that like really leans people towards it. And I just never got that from him.
Okay. So the tweet I just read was July 24th. The tweet before that I read was September 10th. September 23rd, he was arrested in the Dominican Republic. July 3rd, he was of the following year, he was arrested in Spain. December 1st, 2019.
Are you going backwards?
I didn't write these in order. I wrote them.
These were not in order, dude. You said you have a timeline and you're fucking up the timeline.
Yeah, it's a timeline, but I said it wasn't in order.
It's points in a timeline is in sequential order, asshole.
Right.
You can't just jump around if you're going to tell us a timeline.
Well, on December 1st, 2019, he said, he tweeted, getting subtle messages from U.S. officials saying, in effect, we're coming for you, McAfee. We're going to kill yourself.
Uh-huh.
I got a tattoo today just in case if I suicide myself. I didn't. I was whacked. Check my right arm. And it's a $ saying whacked.
Have you heard this guy talk about psychedelics?
Yeah.
He literally says several times, like, it puts you into it. Like, it changed my world. And the way he laughs and says that, I believe this guy had one of these trips, like, because it does happen occasionally. But he was, you know, narcissistic enough to live through it and to just act like it wasn't happening. I think this guy was literally seeing things constantly. I think he had this thing where they say it when you take massive amounts of acid, where it builds up in your system and you start to see tracers, your brain essentially breaks a little bit. And it brings another reality into existence. And for someone who did copious amounts of these fucking narcotics and psychedelics, I'm inclined to believe that this guy was seeing shit like A Beautiful Mind. We all saw that, not Kurt Russell, what's his name?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. We saw that Russell Crowe movie, A Beautiful Mind. This guy was just born that way. He didn't do any fucking drugs for it. Some brains are broken that way. Some brains really believe these things are happening. Some people really believe that they can drug and rape women, and it's not rape because they wanted it. It's their broken psyches. And when psychedelics are involved, you have hallucinations. That is literally the point of taking them for some people, is the hallucinations. And I think this guy was suffering from serious delusional hallucinations.
So you're saying that much like Ozzy Osbourne, he was stuck on a permanent trip and then coincidentally they killed him, made it look like suicide, like somebody
No, I
in his
think he
jail.
killed himself. I think it's very possible he believed that someone made him kill himself or was gonna make him kill himself. You know what I mean? Like you can just it's too much. It sucks because we will never fucking know, and it's all speculation. But from what I gathered from the way he communicated about his psychedelic use, from the way he posted his life story, like everything he said in tweets and Instagram and all this shit, it all screams of a person who had a broken psyche and who is a manic person who could be extremely coherent and extremely aware of how he was coming off to you, but in private was really fucking screaming in his head during these conversations, seeing all this shit around and just not addressing it. Because what are you gonna do? Like say, so yeah, I'm in this interview with you. I'm wearing my sunglasses and I see this fucking dark figure standing behind you. Looks like he has a CIA fucking look about him and he's looking right at me. You know, is he gonna say that just because he sees it and he knows you don't? But that's his reality. You know, and eventually you see those so much, it's like a beautiful mind. Do you believe that they are actual? You have to ask people, like, hey, do you see that guy over there? If you do, well, then I know he's real, right? If you don't, then you're fucked. Like at what point he was known to be a paranoid person. He was always looking out the window. He says to himself, my wife is going crazy with me because she sees me getting up and looking out the window at all hours of the night. And some may call me paranoid, but if you believe that the Belizean government or the securities are coming after you, that's a stressful situation, might make you a little paranoid. So you can argue, there's argument for both sides. He's just such a manic ass fucking actor in this world.
Right.
It's so easy to write all this shit off as just delusions of a fucking madman.
Yeah, because when I see people, I don't ask around, hey, do you see that person? No, I look around for subtle clues like, is he being noticed? Is that thing? Okay, when it's a thing, I know.
Yeah, but you've never been on cocaine or fucking bath salts. Everybody is looking at you when you're on cocaine or bath salts. They could be facing away from you, and you can swear to God you see their ears twitch because they're trying to listen to you behind them. Like, it's a paranoid fucking drug. Those are paranoid fucking drugs. I have done that John McAfee shit where I've done copious amounts of cocaine and been fucking staring out the fucking window, thinking to myself, fuck, this is the night that they followed me home from buying those fucking drugs. This is the night they're gonna bust through the door and fucking take me in. I've had those fucking nights, man. Oh shit, I'm getting emotional. That shit sucks.
No,
that
yeah,
is a scary. And there have been times, yeah, you know, I know you've had friends in this situation as well. This isn't the first time.
No, like me personally, like fucking, I've had this chimera type creature, the best I can explain it, fucking following me. Like I see it from time to time. I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck? And I look around.
Is this before or after the military?
This is after the military, but it was yeah, it was before the meds.
I was gonna ask, was it PTSD first or the meds that caused it?
No, this was before the meds, and then before the military, I saw fucking. There was this black man, like
racist.
No, like he was fucking a corn-fed motherfucker, right? But he was black in overalls, a lot like the guy from.
Wow, that's super racist, Frank. Jesus Christ.
No, like he would always fucking follow me everywhere I went. You know, I was in school and there he was fucking.
And you never asked people if they saw him?
No, because like.
Not even once.
No.
And you didn't think to ask for help? What the fuck, Frank?
No, because I was like.
I don't think I want you in my apartment anymore.
No, because like I'm walking down the hall, right? And then I see a corn-fed motherfucker, like about 6'5", jacked.
Stop saying that, you racist prick. Jesus, why can't I hear you laugh?
Every time I see him in the fucking no, because I'm like laughing silently. So I see him in the hall, and I'm like, shit, like call it courage, but I'm like, my locker's right there. I gotta get to my locker, like fucking. okay, I'm gonna go to my locker. Don't fucking eat me now. And then, eventually he'll disappear. And I'm,
How
fuck, that was
old were you?
intense.
What the fuck are you talking about?
High school, man.
Frank,
Junior
do you
high.
not realize you're saying this so fucking casually as if it's a normal fucking thing? This is drug induced for me.
Well,
You
it was
shouldn't
normal
just
for
be
me.
fucking saying no, it's not.
For me,
What the
it was
fuck are you
normal
doing?
because like,
Have you ever talked to a doctor about this?
well, yeah,
A therapist?
fucking after the military, yeah. Actually, during the military, my last year, I was telling the shrink I was seeing, I'm like, hey, I think I'm schizo. She's like, no, you're not schizo. And then explained to me the fucking medical science behind it. I'm like, I guess I'm not fucking schizo. And then I see that fucking creature following me. I'm like, hey, you're not really there. I'm not schizo.
Well, that's not schizophrenia. That's dissociative order.
No, disassociative means like you see yourself doing shit, right? But you have no control over it. Like you're living a dream, but it's not a dream. It's a fucking like it's real life, but for some reason you have a third person point of view of your own life, your own perspective of life. So there's that. And anyways, so then
Yeah. Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and or schizophrenia could also be caused by alcohol or drugs, hallucinations.
But I wasn't taking what's it called? I wasn't taking meds in the military. I didn't take meds until fucking 2015. So yeah, that. So yeah, like it was normal for me because I thought everybody fucking saw something because my uncle and a Native American, because apparently I'm racist, would follow him everywhere he went. So I was like, oh, okay, that's normal. I don't know.
I mean, this is arguably this is where the idea of spirit guides come in, right?
Well, yes, but
or shamanists,
right? But with
people that can speak to the dead or see things that others can't.
Right, but
you may have been a fucking renowned fucking leading medicine man back in the day with the Native Americans.
No, that was my uncle. Well, maybe, but my uncle was the one that had a Native American following him everywhere.
No, but in general, if you see these things, then you tell people about it. That nowadays you're in a psych ward. Back then, you were the fucking king of the fucking tribe.
Very well could be. I don't know.
Yeah, born in the wrong generation, my friend.
Yeah, aren't we all? So 1, 2, 3. So these next 3 events are in chronological order.
No way.
Yeah, so then
there
was a video on June 15th of this year of John McAfee saying, if I am extradited, it is certain that I will spend the rest of my life in prison because the United States wants to use me as an example. And then 5 days later, John McAfee's wife posts a letter saying, or shares a letter saying, John's honesty has often gotten him in trouble with corrupt governments and corrupt government officials because of his outspoken nature and his refusal to get extorted, intimidated, or silenced. Now the U.S. authorities are determined to have John die in prison to make an example of him against the corruption within the government agencies. And then 3 days later, John McAfee is suicided, and his Twitter account posts a picture of a black Q. That's it. And people are saying, oh, that means, QAnon. Like QAnon, fucking get on QAnon to find out more. Or QAnon behind this.
A black cube means QAnon?
Yeah, Q. The letter Q.
You fucktards. You don't know how to spell cube is with a C.
No. You heard Cuba. I'm saying a black letter Q.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It did sound like you said cube. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well,
I was so pissed. I was like, how does a cube equate to the letter Q? That's with a C, man. Come on. All right. I'm a jackass. Go ahead.
Okay. So that's it. So, yeah, those are the timeline of events that were mostly not in chronological order. So, I don't know, man. I'm inclined to believe that he was suicided, but maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. I mean, it's just hard when there's a quote of him saying, when he was developing his own drugs, I am my only test subject. I temporarily blinded myself for 3 hours and didn't sleep for 4 days. What the fuck, dude? Lesser men fucking lose their goddamn mind after 3. He's going 4 and temporarily blinded, and I'm sure that wasn't the only case. Like, this guy was a broken psyche all around. Now, was he a functional broken psyche? Absolutely. Just like there are functional drug addicts and alcoholics everywhere. This guy was an extremist variety of variant of that. I'm looking for, there was this last quote that I really wanted to look into or bring up. Go ahead, ramble while I look for it.
Okay, well, so then, because I didn't get around to finish saying that the reason why I voted for John McAfee was because the guy walked the walk because he would put the crypto where his mouth is. He walked the walk. It was like taxation is theft, and he wasn't paying some taxes because everything is taxed. So yeah, he wasn't paying some taxes. The taxes he had control over paying. That and his views on Second Amendment, like some people think I'm an extremist because I'm a Second Amendment absolutist, but this guy straight up said, I have the right to shoot you for whatever fucking reason. I'm like, well, no, but
that's murder.
but that's the type of fucking mentality we need to make the fucking Second Amendment absolute again, because it says shall not be infringed. And yet we have all these fucking rules and regulations, and we have our current fucking president saying, for God's sakes, the Second Amendment says we can limit who we sell guns to.
You know how we do this?
How?
You know how we solve this problem?
How?
We legalize dueling again.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so what if you're not, there are restrictions. You can't just shoot and kill willy-nilly.
No, like you have to challenge them.
But you could challenge them to a duel like a proper gentleman.
Yeah.
Choose your weapons, sir.
Yeah.
What would you pick? If you okay, let's end this. This has gone on long enough, but let's end on this. If you could duel somebody and you could not use a gun, a ballistics of any type, it had to be a hand-to-hand weapon of some sort, what would you choose?
Well, like a knife?
Yeah, a knife or a sword or a cuttlefish, a chair, a stool, what else? A nunchakus.
Well, those are horrible weapons. Like the
no, everything is a horrible weapon if you don't know how to use it, Frank.
No, I'm saying the nunchucks, you fucking hit yourself.
Yes, I know. Yes,
yeah,
I'm aware. Yeah. I'm aware.
But
you're missing my point entirely. This is an entertaining way to end the fucking show.
Okay, so I do not have a set of fucking knuckles with spikes that I would use in that situation.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Wait, no. Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, if you had some brass knuckles with spikes on, that's what you would use for hand-to-hand combat?
Yes.
I would use what do they call? They're like I would use a spear, a long ass fucking pole with a sharp pointy end. That way I could stab you from a distance, and if you get too close, I could push you back, or I could bludgeon the shit out of you with it. Because I think that's where you run into trouble with the sword, is that you're stuck holding it by the end of it, and it takes a while to swing around. I always found the bokin or a staff or a spear to be.
So you just poke somebody to death.
Yeah, shank and twist. Shank, twist, pull, bludgeon.
Well, if it works, it works, right?
Well, I mean, of course, this is in the case of fucking not having a fucking weapon, a proper weapon. All right, so now let's say it was a proper duel. What would you use? Ballistics included here. Proper duel.
I want to say.
What would be your? Would it be a pistol?
No, I want to say a fucking 10 millimeter, 10 caliber or whatever, fucking a 10. But I'm like, no, I can barely shoot a 45 straight, so I'm gonna have to go with 9 millimeter.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I would go with. But now my question is, do you go automatic, semi-automatic, or would an automatic be allowed, like a little rat-a-tat-tat gun, where you fucking whip it around and just burst spray? Because it's not very accurate. But
yeah,
what are we at? Are we at 10 paces, 20 paces? I like 20 paces. I feel like anything under 20 paces is kind of bullshit. Because at that point, you're 40 paces apart. You know, you start in the middle. I'm doing straight dueling, bro. Back to back, walk away, turn and shoot. I ain't talking about no Wild West fucking shootout shit where you're fucking high noon at the end of the fucking parking lot shooting at each other. I mean, you gotta fucking turn and shoot. I think that's the only proper way to do it. In which case, I would have to go with some sort of revolver, because I am not going to risk my fucking shit jamming in a fucking any other fucking type of weapon. I'm a revolver guy through and through. If it's a duel, you don't need that many fucking shots, right? You'll have more accuracy. I would use a mid-length barrel on what, like a 30? I think I'd go with 30-30. Is that too big? That might be too big. But you want something that's going to have some punch to it too. But not too much heft, because you got to whip it up and around. I'm going proper duel.
At 40 paces, you have a chance at missing, and then if it kicks like a mule, you're probably gonna miss.
So you think 30 is it? Well, that's why I didn't go 45, Dirty fucking Harry. You know, I figured 30 might be better. I like 9mm, but do they make 9mm revolvers? I guess so, right? They make everything.
Probably. I think I've seen 9mm revolvers. Yeah. Rarely, but yeah.
So that's what I would go with. Yeah, some sort of revolver, lightweight, mid power. Yeah. If I knew more about guns, I'd be more specific. A Kimber custom defense pistol with a carbon fiber hand grip and pearl inlays. All this crazy shit. Ask me how I know that. There's a fucking Sublime song that starts with it. And out the left, you'll see the Grand Canyon, and on your right, you'll notice the pilot with a Kimber custom defense pistol with a blah, blah, blah. It's a fucking badass start to the song. Anyway, fuck, Frank, this was an entertaining one for me. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, for over an hour, it better damn well be fucking entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good time. Did you?
Sure.
Are your nipples hard for me, Poppy?
My nipples are always hard.
That's so gross. All right, man.
Why'd you ask?
On that note, this has been another completely inappropriate episode. I've been Anthony along with Mr. Franco. I've been Anthony along with Mr.
Frank.
And remember, you can find us at completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com with any comments, questions, concerns. Please hit us up. We're real lonely over here. Where else, Frank?
Oh, you can find us at CI Podcast on Instagram, at Completely Inap on Twitter, and we might throw up a vlog soon on BitChute. I don't know how that's going. So,
what are you vlogging on? I don't know about this.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. We might, because I'm like, hey, maybe I could fucking vlog like every other week. I don't know.
But what are you gonna vlog?
I don't know. Going to work, I guess.
Oh, good God, no. Nobody wants to see your life at Dairy Queen. Oh, that's how we're ending the show. You get to tell me you told me so.
Oh, sure. I mean,
because last week I gave you so much shit about your shitty interviewing practices, and lo and behold, it fucking got you a job.
Well, holy yeah, that's shit. That's why I kept insisting on fast food restaurants, because if at a fast food restaurant, if at a fast food restaurant they didn't bother to do my fucking background check. Actually, at that time I didn't have a background check, but they in a fast food restaurant they hired anybody. And most likely at a fast food restaurant, I'm going to find another manager that'll hire anybody.
You were much more likely to get a job super fast if you had just applied to like some rinky-dink Mexican restaurant, right? Because they never background check. They basically say, when can you start? And like, okay, come in. There's basically no paperwork other than sign here so you can get your check.
Well, now I know.
Did you really never think to go to just a mom and pop shop?
Nope.
Holy stupid walls on a bat. Man.
No, like mom and pop shop, yes, but fucking Mexican joint, No, I never really
Yeah,
thought of
dude,
it.
that would have been perfect. I'm sorry, I didn't even think about it till now.
Yeah.
Or even like a home run gas station, you know, a little tienda. What are they called? Bodega.
Convenience stores.
A bodega. Not a convenience store. That's different. Convenience stores have like proper lighting and refrigeration, and their employees have like a nice shirt on and shower. I'm talking about a nasty bodega where the guy behind the counter is like fucking 16 years old, wired up to the gills on fucking cocaine, going back and forth to the restroom, stumbling, giving your change back to you, shaking his hand. That's happened to me so many times at this one bodega down the road. Anyway, it's either that guy or his mom, who's like fucking 4 years older than he is and fucking 50 pounds heavier. Those are the bodegas you got to go apply to, man. Guaranteed job.
Cool.
I mean, you might have to do some shady shit after hours for him, but hey, that's just more bank.
Well, you say so.
I don't know, man. Anyway, much love to you, man. Congratulations on the job. Hopefully you keep this one. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Frankie comes from his mama. He likes pie. What do we talk about for Christmas, Frank?
Yeah,
Fine, you motherfucking had to be better today or yesterday. Peace out. Bye, Frank.